Well, don't look now, but we've got music and football together on dance floors, and young kids are doing it, and they're getting hurt. Dave Jamont does this, so does Tammy Lowe and Bob Holly. What's the excitement? You get in the middle of the floor, and you bang each other, you give elbows. This isn't funny. Have you been hurt?
Yes, I was hurt.
How badly?
I broke my back.
Literally your back?
Literally broke my back.
You're a 26-year-old guy, you've already got a broken back.
Yes, broken back 3 years ago.
Tammy, you don't get in the center of this thing. Girls don't.
No, I do.
You get in the center?
Yes.
What's happened to you?
Nothing. I never really got hurt.
Broken leg, broken foot.
And you still mosh, huh?
Absolutely.
Moshing.
Well, they call it moshing now, but it used to be called slam dancing. I don't know where the term mosh came from.
Yeah, well, it was my idea, actually. Let me just give you a look at this. This is not funny to a lot of parents. This is moshing in New York City. Young people out on the floor. Tell me how close we are to a riot. Show them, Brian. Come on, over the elbows. It gets worse, and we'll show you. That guy's down. Where'd he go? Let the young man up. This is, I'll tell you, this is the edge of violence right here. Now, no alcohol.
No.
No alcohol served at these things.
No.
You get in the middle of this?
Yeah.
What's the deal? What's the fun?
It's a way to get your stress out. A lot of people take stress out, like going into the pit.
Stress.
Yeah.
It really looks like the ultimate orgasmic expression of what ails us in this culture.
Have you ever heard of a runner's high?
A runner's high? Yes, I have.
Same thing. It's how you get your aggression out a lot of times. You have all this aggression built up inside you from from everything you go through in a day.
Yeah.
And it's just a release.
You got a lot of pressure, do you, Bob?
Yeah, sometimes.
How about you, Tammy?
Yeah.
You're 26 years old. What's the pressure?
There's a lot of pressure in every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
your work, job, dealing with the public.
Dealing with the public is a very difficult. Show them once again, Brian. Let's just take one more look at this, and we have other film we want to show you. Later in this program, you're going to see kids with bloody noses. You're going to see bouncers remove young people. Now what happens if somebody gets an elbow in the face right there, and somebody throws a punch, and then somebody else throws a punch? Pretty soon, you got something that the cops cannot control. You also got some high-handed bouncers working these clubs.
That's a fact.
And they just as soon throw you out as look at you. Isn't that right?
That's a fact.
Some of these bouncers might have had a few martinis before they showed up for work.
The bouncers are worse than the people in the crowd. The
Absolutely.
people in the crowd, we're looking out for each other. We're trying to help each other out. The bouncers are usually the guys that cause more trouble. I got hurt from the bouncers.
If you fall down in the pit, 10 to 1, somebody's going to pick you up.
Help me. There's
Absolutely.
a generosity here.
Absolutely. It's not like it used to be. Back when we used to go see shows like Minor Threat and 7 Seconds back at CBGB's when I was a teenager. If you fell down, people lined up to stomp you.
Lined up to stomp you, huh?
But now people will pick you up. If you fall down, you're not on your own.
You make me feel about 140 years old. When I mean it. Look at here. You do it, huh?
Yep.
You are ages 17, 16, and 16. Do you have any interest in dancing close to a girl like this? Just slow and kind of dreamy?
Sure, it's fun. I mean, but that's, it's the way you get your aggressions out.
You have aggressions too, huh?
Yeah.
Hold her in the pit.
You get aggressions?
Hold her up there in the mosh pit.
Huh? You mean hold her in the mosh?
Yeah.
Incidentally, how do I know whose hand isn't groping? And I would ask the young woman, Tammy. I assume that
You don't. You just surf with it and you just go with it. I mean,
and then some people jump off the stage, right?
Exactly.
That's called what? Surfing?
Stage diving.
Stage diving. Yeah. I see. I think Jen and Liz, we have your parents here.
Yeah.
We asked them to what? They have no idea. Who has the parent that waits in line to get the tickets for you? Because you have to go to school.
Yes.
Who does this, your mom?
Yes.
Well, and your mom is here.
Yes.
We asked her to watch a tape of what you are doing when you go moshing. They thought it was just a nice thing where the kids, oop-oopy-doop. I mean it. We scared them. Do you know that? They had no idea how violent this was. Here's a picture of your folks watching our videotape of moshing. Show them this, Brian. Mom.
Look at that. Look at that. Look what they're doing to him. What are they, kidding me?
Is that what they
This is
call
what
it?
your daughter does, see? And I foolishly get online to get her tickets so she can do this and get hurt. Go, Mom. Elizabeth does it?
If your daughter did this, you'd be nuts, just like your folks are. Huh?
No way.
You're gonna. Have you been hurt?
Yeah. I mean,
How? How have you been hurt?
I mean, just basically, sprained ankles, plunges to the face, fights.
Fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Have you been hurt, Liz?
Not really. Bruises.
Don't you kind of show your bruises off?
No.
Huh?
No.
Have you ever stage dived?
No.
Stage dove? Here's a bloody nose. This is a bloody nose. You'll see the kid coming up. I mean, we'll show you this in real time first. This is moshing. It is the latest. Bye, Mom. I'm going out. You remember when it was a movie and, just sort of like going to the hop. Now, it is, I have to call this violent. You can call me old, but I'm going to call this violent. Watch this. This kid gets a bloody nose here. Watch this kid go down now. There he is. He's down. Now watch when he comes up. Somebody has stepped on his face. Now watch this. There he is. He's blood. See the blood? Now he's on the left over there. We'll give you that in slow-mo in just a moment.
Yeah, but he's right back in there.
But the bloody nose goes away. There's no permanent damage. I've been doing this for 13 years, and that's the most that's ever happened
He's
to me.
got a busted back, this guy.
Just saying, for 13 years I've been doing it, and this is the first time, 2 months ago is when I broke my leg. I just got it in my cast. And then for 13 years I've been doing it, and that's the first time I've ever been seriously injured.
We're going to meet some of the parents that you've just seen, and also continue this exclusive look at what happens when a whole bunch of young people get together to mosh. And you stand in the center of the moshing pit, do you, Tammy?
I run right through it sometimes. You go in and out of it.
Yeah. You never dove off a stage.
No, but I've had a girl body surf near me, and she kept kicking me in the face every time she went up, and I ripped her earring out.
Did she have pierced ears?
Yeah.
So you just...
Yeah, it's on my boyfriend's jacket right over there.
Right here.
Hey, let's see that. Stand up here a second.
Take it off?
Yeah, well, no, that's all right.
That's the earring,
this
right
is the earring?
That's the earring right there.
And you pulled it right off her?
Right out of the ear.
Yeah, you're telling us this with some excitement.
Well, she kept kicking me in the face. I was getting really fed up with her jumping up and kicking me in the face, so
Did you see the blood?
Yeah, I ripped it right out of her ear.
And it's coming down her face, huh?
Yeah. But she didn't really mind.
She didn't mind?
No.
All right. We're going to meet these parents, and we will continue to look at moshing when we come back in just a moment. Jen, your little girl. Huh? She looks well raised to us, Mom. Proud of her.
Yes.
She's doing good in schools as well.
Doing very well in
And
school.
she's drug-free.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and she's not running out, and when you say get home, she says she comes home.
She does.
She's 17. Jen is 17, is that right?
Jen
I'm sorry, 16.
Jen's
All right.
16.
You look real shocked now. I'm looking at this.
Well, I don't know. I had no idea what went on in these
I didn't
rock
either.
concerts.
No.
They said, Ma, it's nothing. It's wonderful. I feel like I'm on top of the world. I feel so good when I'm with everyone. Everyone's around me. Everyone's part of it. It's so wonderful. So I get online in the morning and get tickets to these things because this is what she wants.
You love her?
I know. I'm happy she's happy.
Yeah.
We said we'll pick you up at 11:30 in front of Roseland because we don't want to take the train at night. I had no idea what I was doing.
This is Manhattan. Yeah. Are you Brooklyn people?
Yes.
So she comes over to Manhattan for the dance?
Well, we live on Long Island now.
Oh, Long Island. Okay.
Yeah, originally I'm from
here, I want to take another look. This isn't going to help you at all.
No,
but we got to see this. Here's a slow-mo of what we just showed you. I want to show you this. This is a guy with a bloody nose. I guess he's proud of it. Isn't that right? You know, you kind of show it off. Huh?
Battle
scars, sure.
Battle scars, absolutely.
Battle scar. All right, show him here. Somebody in our audience already. Watch the punch here. Watch the punch. Boom. See that punch right there? This kid goes down, I think, after that. Now, watch this. Watch this. This kid is going to come up. Bloody. See him right there. See the blood? There it is. I mean, this is dancing. Don't make such a big thing about it. You're showing a fight. You're not showing moshing. We're not showing moshing. So this is what old people do then. They kind of just screw up the real truth. Is that right?
I'm not going to deny it's violent. You know, it is. But it's the sign of the times. You got to deal with it. You
got to go with it.
And I've been to NHL hockey games that are more violent than what you see up there. You're showing fight.
But but nobody's mother stands in line for a ticket so that their son can play hockey and not know what's going on. These parents had no idea that this was this violent. You didn't. We haven't heard from you, Mr. Haar. You love your daughter as much as anybody else, and
certainly do.
Your daughter is Jen.
Right. When I must say this, that when your producer called and asked me to participate in the show, I kind of thought the subject was light and wasn't as important to build a show around.
Right.
Until I got into your green room. I had no idea at all of what went on down there. I knew the names and I heard crowd surfing and so forth, but it's one thing to read about it, or it's one thing to talk to your daughter about it. It's quite another thing to see it happening and see what these kids are doing there. And my feeling is that the potential for injury, serious injury, is tremendous. I mean, I'm sure there are nights where you go to a concert and really nobody gets hurt, but the potential is always there for somebody to unintentionally drop somebody. Doesn't even have to be on purpose.
Speaking of dropping somebody, here's where it is most likely to happen. This is called crowd surfing. Crowd surfing.
Crowd surfing.
Body surfing. So they pass you around. Show them here. Incidentally, look at this. Now, what's to prevent this kid from being dropped on his head? Body.
All the people.
All the people.
If you're up, they won't let you fall.
Now, here's a guy walking on shoulders, faces, heads. It does look like mostly boys in the middle there.
Well,
You've done it?
yes. Yeah.
You've been up there and they've passed you along, have they? This is about to make you crazy, Mom, huh? Huh?
My little Jen.
We haven't heard Carol Ann Williams. Your Liz, there she is. You didn't know either, did you?
No, I did not. I thought it was innocent dancing.
Dancing.
You had no idea it was this violent. Does it scare you?
Yes, it scares me. My daughter's not a big person. She's tiny.
Your daughter's what?
Tiny.
Tiny.
She gets squashed.
Well, the idea, though, of the liberties that could be taken by all those horny guys passing a girl around on top of... I mean, what parent wouldn't be crazy? Let me tell you the grim side of this. I don't mean to scare you. Incidentally, these kids are never going to watch the Donahue show again. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we've done to their weekends as a result of letting their parents know what happens. But let me just tell you the worst that can happen. In a moment, you'll meet the parents of a teenager who literally was killed at a moshing concert, and it just happened a couple of weeks ago. And we'll meet them when we come back in just a moment.
Are you sleeping with your best friend's father? If so, give us a call at 1-800-205-7445. That's 1-800-205-7445.
Well, Gabriella and Michael Mitchell would rather be here talking about something else. We convey to you, Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell, our sincerest gratitude. You don't want... it's too late for you. And you don't want anybody else to go through your nightmare. I said 2 weeks ago, your son Christopher died 2 months ago. How old was he?
18.
18. I assume you didn't really appreciate the violence here? Or did you? I don't know. Did you know what moshing was? No. Not unlike these folks.
No.
And you are conscientious parents. You don't, you want to know what time your kids are getting home. And I don't know how you could possibly have guessed that this... What happened to Christopher? Do you know?
From what I understand, it was he went to this club in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He apparently was stage diving.
Stage diving.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt you, Dad, just for a second. Let's show that, Brian. This is stage diving. You can guess what this. Watch this. Boom. See this? Now, what happens if they don't catch this kid and he lands on his neck or his head? Yes. Right. There's a future CEO right there. Yeah. On his head. Well, this is film, not, we can presume, there is, of course, no moving recording of your son, but this has to be something like what happened to him. Do you have any details about this?
From what I understand, like I said, he was stage diving. He did a stage dive, and then, like the kids were saying before, they caught him in the crowd, and he was okay. He did it a second time, and from what I understand, the bouncers involved with it pushed him off the stage. I think Chris was supposed to go forward, and the bouncer pushed him to the right, and consequently fell on his and injured his head.
So he pushed him to a place in front of the stage where there were no people.
From what I understand, yeah. I think if Christopher was allowed to do what he was going to do, Christopher would be still here.
Sure. You bring up the issue of bouncers, and this doesn't surprise you?
Not at all. It happens all the time.
So I'm the bouncer, and incidentally, these are all young punk kids.
Yes.
I probably don't respect them anyway.
Well, not necessarily. Most of them, do get on a power trip. And if you try to get up on the stage, they'll hit you, they'll grab you, they'll throw you down.
We actually recorded that ourselves. This is exclusive footage that we took.
I believe it.
Of a moshing, sorry.
Noshing.
A moshing event. That's how we'll get through this, just giggling about it. Here's a bouncer doing what you say they do. Not all, but often. Watch here now. Sorry about the light here. See that? That bouncer threw that kid off. See that? So what you've got is, do it again. See, there's the slow-mo. Threw him right off. So, huh?
The kid who wasn't even ready. That's what the bouncer
That's the point.
Right.
You're in midair before you're ready.
He wasn't even turned around yet.
Right.
And they're pushing him off the stage.
It's like being thrown into the shallow end of a pool.
Absolutely.
Head first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do they allow the kids, though, to go up there on the stage?
The kids, I think, are not allowed on the stage, but that's a rule that some kids break, and that's part of the excitement, huh?
Some concerts you're allowed to go on
Some venues
stage.
you're allowed, some you're not.
A lot of times it depends on the band.
Right.
A lot of times it depends on the band. If the band doesn't want you on stage, you're not going to be allowed on stage. If the band wants you to get up on stage, they'll tell the bouncers, get out of the way, and let the kids come up.
Speaking of band, we'll meet a band that does this work. Marilyn Manson is the lead singer in the band, or the lead player in the band. So this is the music to which moshing activity is attached. Look at this. Obviously, this is a video of... I used to live below a guy who looked like that in an apartment building. Your son did get up. He did not... If he had lost consciousness, was he ambulatory after he hit the floor? Did he get up?
That was still investigating. We don't know. And he was helped out. He was taken out of the club.
And was he conscious when he left the club? Do you know that? You're not sure?
I think he was in and out of consciousness.
Unconscious?
Yes. I think he was in and out of consciousness at that point.
So then he's taken to the hospital, and he survives the night, does he not? When did he die? Did he not die the next day?
Just happened Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning. He was pronounced dead on Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And what did the doctor tell you? Was there an autopsy, or was there any... What do you know about his injuries, Dad?
The cause of death was an epidural hematoma, a fractured skull.
Uh-huh.
He had a fractured skull with an epidural hematoma,
Right.
which
is... Yeah. Do you have any explanation for this? I mean this phenomenon. I don't know. I'm asking you. You thought about this more than most of us. Please.
I did. When I was with Christopher that afternoon and that evening, and he was going out Christmas shopping and things like that. And he came back home that evening and said, "I'm going to go to a concert. Can I use the car?" And my idea of a concert was this: people sitting down and looking at a band. So I had no idea. I told Christopher when he left to just be careful of driving. I didn't tell him to be careful of dancing or be careful of moshing. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know this stuff went on.
Uh-huh.
And when I got called at work, I was at work in the morning when this happened. When I got called at work and they said he had fell off the stage, I thought he was on the stage playing. He was a guitar player also. I thought he was on the stage playing the guitar.
Yeah, and he had a broken ankle or something.
Yeah, I had no idea. When I was driving out from, I work in Newark, and when I was driving out to Brooklyn, which I didn't know was in Brooklyn, but when I was driving out to Brooklyn, I couldn't fathom what was going on in my mind. You know?
I received a call from the police about 4:20 in the morning. The incident was supposed to have happened around 2:30. Because our son called us. I spoke to him. My husband didn't speak to him. I spoke to him about 20 to 1, and he told us that this group, Life of Agony, hadn't come on yet, and they were supposed to come on. They were late. They were coming up on about 2 o'clock, and if he could please stay. He's very lucid, very, coherent, and I told him, I said, well, we wanted you home at 1 with the car, and I did give him permission to stay because he begged us. He said, Mom, I bought the ticket and we really are here. There's 5 of us here, and how can I just go? And I said, okay, but as soon as the band comes off, please come home. And he says, yes, and thank you very much. I love you. And that was the last time I spoke to him. And then at 4:20 in the morning, I get a call. I'm by myself at home because my husband was at work, as he said, and I get a call from the police that says, well, your son took a nosedive off. He's not too bad. He has a little bit of a bloody nose, and he's in the emergency room, and, you can call there. And they gave me the number. And when I did call there, again, this is like 4:20. This incident happened around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and now we're about an hour and a half into this that I didn't know was going to turn out to be a tragedy. And time is ticking away, and, his brain is bleeding internally, and they hadn't even taken him to the operating room yet. I got a call when I spoke to the hospital nurse there and asked her the nature of the injury. She said that he had a head trauma, he's being intubated, and would I please hurry up and get to the hospital. And that we're taking him to CAT scan, which, lets you know whether there's a hematoma and if there's going to be severe injuries. Right. That's when I contacted my husband and had my brother-in-law drive me out to the hospital.
So somebody then, somehow, a couple hours later, came out of surgery to notify you, or?
No, we got there. He got there at 6:45 in the morning. My son hadn't even gotten to surgery yet. So he has this full-blown blood clot in the brain. That's what a hematoma is. And, of course, the brain starts to swell at this point, or had been swelling. Right. So, and all this time is elapsing, and it's like 4 hours later before he actually goes to surgery. And thereafter, when we come to see him, there's no neural movement at all at this time. And that only means that the brain has swollen so much that there is no, it's kind of in shock. The brain has been jarred. It's in shock.
And it was the next day, Sunday, that he died.
Right. That was in Columbia Presbyterian that he died. We were waiting 4 hours again for a transfer after surgery from 12 noon at this point to, a facility that he should have been brought to initially.
Right. And you want every parent alive to know that this is out there, and don't?
Yes, there's a lot of things we should all be aware of, more so than...
We'll meet the people who make the music for these moshing events. Are they dances? Are they get-togethers? And yes, this audience wants in this as well. And we'll meet that band in just a moment. Well, here they are, Marilyn Manson, Twiggy Ramirez, and Madonna Wayne Gacy. And you call yourselves, you're Marilyn Manson because?
Because that's my name.
Twiggy? And Madonna Wayne Gacy?
Yes.
You're not going to help us understand the...
Oh, you want to understand where the name came from? I've always watched talk shows. I haven't got to watch yours very often, though. I watch more of the trashier ones, but I found that Marilyn Monroe and Charles Manson, about 5 years ago, when I thought of this, were the two most memorable people from the 60s. I thought it was interesting that things like talk shows put them on the same kind of celebrity status. And I thought that dichotomy of positive and negative, putting those two names together, represented what I had to say and what I was about.
You wanted that?
First of all, I want to say how sorry I am for the parents. And second of all, to the young people, I think it's probably a wonderful way to feel involved and to be part of something. And dancing is a wonderful way to get out your frustration. The only problem I have is the hurting. I'm sure that there's a much better way to get out your energy than hurting other people.
You don't go out. In response to that, you don't go out intentionally to hurt anybody. If somebody gets hurt in the process, then so be it. That's just comes with the territory. But you don't actually go into the pit and say, yeah, oh, look at that guy. Maybe I'm going to go bust his nose. That's not how it works. That's not how it happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's random.
Exactly.
You're not at anybody. You're just getting out what's inside you.
Right. Exactly.
You're not aiming at anybody in particular.
Yes. Mr. Manson, may I call you Mr. Manson?
You sure?
From Seconds Magazine, you're quoted as saying, you have to take responsibility. You reap what you sow, and you have to clean up after yourself. I'm sick of people always trying to blame movies, bands, songs, or talk shows for whatever. Teen suicides, drug overdoses, everything else. If someone's stupid enough to kill themselves because of a song, then that's exactly what they deserve. They weren't contributing anything to society. It's one less effing idiot in the world. There's too many people. If more people killed themselves over music, it wouldn't disappoint me. It would disappoint me in that it's sad that people are that stupid.
Exactly.
I want to know why it is that all of you seem to have satanic signs all over you, and what is it that does this music cause you to do what you do?
Is that directed at us or the parents?
That's funny. Twiggy? That's your little tape recorder?
Okay. To do what we do. We cause music to do what it does, I think.
Yeah.
I think that moshing is a sign of what Christians would call the apocalypse.
Great gnashing of teeth.
It's, you know, the culture is just getting more and more destructive, and I think it, you know, this is a sign of the times.
Yeah.
And I didn't invent it, you know?
No, you didn't. In fact, you look a little like Alice Cooper.
Would any of the moshers know how many deaths have occurred?
Well, the Mitchells are only too painfully aware of one. I don't know of any other.
This is the first I've ever heard of, and one at Woodstock.
Well, but we have a broken back over here. Woodstock, too, featured moshing, didn't it?
Absolutely. That was the biggest pit in the world, and it was great.
There's also a difference between the moshing, I think, which isn't as violent as stage diving. I think stage diving tends to be ignorant. If you're going to jump off a stage, you can only expect to get hurt. We try and discourage people from even coming on the stage, because that's my place of business. If you come where I'm doing my business, then you should plan on doing business, or you're going to get hurt.
Well, doing business, in other words, if they come up on the stage...
There's a lot of heavy instruments and things like that. If you're coming up there, you're going to get hurt. There's a good chance. You know, we try and discourage people from coming on the stage.
Right, how do you do that?
We make an announcement before the show.
But if somebody comes up on the stage, they're likely to be...
Well, the bouncers shove them back out, and that's how they end up getting hurt all the time.
Well,
yeah, I do, too. If they hit me, I'm going to hit them back.
Right. Here you are with a bit of profanity with a stage crasher. Watch this. Marilyn Manson, the performer, encounters a citizen from the audience and says what?
You keep coming up here, you're going to get beaten or raped.
That's funny. Yeah. Man. Thanks, Twiggy.
These are all my generation, and I know everyone says moshing is violent, and I don't mosh, but I've been to places where there's moshing. Nobody forces you into a mosh pit.
Exactly.
You know, if you don't want to go, you don't have to. And these people have formed a trust between them that can't be formed in other places.
You can't tell me that putting a bunch of males in the middle of a dance floor going like this isn't asking for it.
No, because I've been to mosh places, and I don't have to go into the pit if I don't want to. Nobody drags me in there.
If you want to go to the club or the show, there's clubs on Long Island. This is Club Smashlight you can go to. You can hang out, have a good time. You don't have to get involved. If you want to get involved, you know what to expect when you get out there. If you have any fear of getting hurt, you wouldn't go out there in the first place. But you're not there to get hurt. You're there to have a good time.
It also depends on what band you're going to see. If you go to see bands like some of the local bands like Hermaphrodite or Marble or some of the big bands where there's a lot of moshing, you know it's going to be there. So if you don't go and see those bands if that's not what you're into.
Yeah, what's to prevent some yahoo from bringing a shiv into this crowd?
9 times out of 10 when you walk in the club, they frisk you.
They frisk you?
They got metal detectors.
You have metal detectors. How are you going to get through that?
Well, they take a wand to it. If it's like the collar or something like that, they'll know it's that. But they'll check jackets
They
and
make
stuff.
you pull out your pockets if they feel your keys in there or anything. You have to pull it out, show them what it is.
Right.
People aren't bringing in knives.
And we shouldn't be off-put by your look. As you want us to, I suppose, black lipstick? You know, this is not what your father dreamed for you at this age.
Yeah, but my parents don't mind. They're very liberal on it. They're not like,
And you are drug-free, and you're
Yes, I
not
am.
stealing anybody's hubcaps or anything else? You're not promiscuous?
I have a legitimate job. I work at a club. I work at a record store.
And this is what you enjoy doing?
Yes.
And you can take care of yourself?
Exactly.
Don't you have a little empathy, however, for the Mitchells and also for the parents of these young? We're talking 17, 16, and 16 here. You're not concerned about this?
I feel horrible about it.
Absolutely. We heard about that the night it happened. Everybody heard about it.
Mr. Mitchell wanted to say, sir.
I don't have a problem with the bands or the music unless they encourage it, and I don't know if they do or not. The fact that Chris went on a stage and jumped off doesn't make much sense to me sometimes either. But if it's going to be, I think the club owners or venue that's doing this could stop that in some way or other. The band don't want the kids on the stage, then the kids shouldn't go on the stage. If you don't want them to get hurt, I don't think the bouncers should be throwing them back off.
No, they shouldn't.
Not in a violent way anyway. Stopping them from coming up is one thing. Okay?
But this is, to me, is as close to shouting fire in a crowded theater as you can get.
Yeah.
I think the stage is set here. The fuse is lit. And all you need are a couple of elbows, a couple of punches, more people get involved, and pretty soon everybody's at the door crushing everybody else. Yeah. I don't have to give you the speech about the tragedies that have developed at, for example, at rock concerts.
When they showed me the films of this and they said it was called dancing, I said when I was a kid it was called inciting to riot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, never, What do I have to understand?
It's not just bands like Marilyn Manson. These guys are great. They're a great band. I saw them open for 9 Inch Nails, and they're phenomenal. But it happens at rap concerts. It happens. We slam dance to the country band at Woodstock. I mean, come on, it happens everywhere.
Our purpose of being here is to let these kids know and the parents know that they can. The ultimate is death, and that's what we suffered. I have no problem with the music if that's what they want to listen to. Every generation is going to have their music.
Right.
All right. And I remember when they yelled at our music when we were kids.
I know. I think it's unfortunate that parents don't know what their kids are doing. That disappoints me. I think parents should know what their kids are doing. I think parents should raise their kids better as someone like Marilyn Manson's going to.
Sure. I have to just observe, Mr. Mitchell, as you sit next to Marilyn Manson, nowhere is the generation gap more visible than it is right here. This is not to pass judgment in any way, but it is rather to say, our grandparents had Helen Kane, oop, oopy doop, and everybody thought the world was going to hell because she was... Never has it been quite this pronounced. I mean, really, this is... Nor has a culture, especially a culture of young people, appeared to be so transfixed with death and darkness and evil and... Do I speak the truth, Marilyn?
Everyone's so afraid of death, I think, that they want to get closer to it by fascinating over things like serial killers and horror movies and car crashes, and that fear of that danger at these concerts and these mosh pits. I think people get a sexual thrill from it. I think that excites people.
So there's erotica then is a part of moshing?
Well, maybe it's not erotic, but there's a term called eustress, and it's people's euphoric feeling over their stress. Yes. I think people thrive off of that. It's like amusement park, right at your own risk. You know at the concerts there's a hint of danger, and people like that hint of danger.
Living dangerously.
This audience wants to talk about that with you, and also we'll revisit moshing on the floor with all those bodies bumping into each other. Yes, it was once called slam dancing. Now we have the more euphemistic title, moshing. We'll be back in a moment. We have not yet met Paul Wertheimer. Mr. Wertheimer is a security consultant. We got to have a consultant now for security. You actually bring your own expertise, for example, to concerts, and making sure kids don't get killed at the door. Did you, your work is provoked by all the deaths at concerts, isn't that so?
I study rock concert safety from the standpoint of from the viewpoint of the fans.
Have you ever been on site when a violent eruption took place?
Well, I've spent 2.5 years moshing, and I was at the Who concert in '79 after the death of 11 fans.
This is Cincinnati?
Yes, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm going to ask you what you think is going to happen. Let's take one more look. Here is stage diving. This is moshing. We've already met the Mitchells, whose son was thrown off a stage by a security person. And now, watch this. How safe is that? And incidentally, what happens to the net? Watch this dude here. Now watch, he gets punched. He gets punched at the end of this. Watch this. Bam! Right there. Is this going to last, Mr. Wertheimer?
Well, I think it's going to continue for a while, certainly. And I don't think the problem is the moshing itself in general. It certainly isn't the fan. It's the people who create the environment and don't look out for the safety of the people who do mosh. There's the problem.
Really? See, I don't know how in the world you can possibly monitor the behavior of 100 people bumping into each other. Especially, do you know what I mean? I think the event itself is, I guess I'm sounding older than time.
How about 1,000 people at a club like Roseland? I was there one night waiting for my daughter to come out, and there had to be hundreds, not 100, but hundreds and hundreds of people coming out. And I want to say also there's one other thing about bodyguards. While I was waiting there, some kid was trying to get in, and he didn't have a ticket, and a bodyguard came out, or a bouncer, I'm sorry. And he was very, very aggressive with this kid, overly aggressive, and almost hurt him right in front of me.
Yeah. You wanted to say?
Well, let me tell you what they can do if you want me to.
Please.
First of all, they can pad the floor. They can retrain the security. They can pad the bars. And they can have first aid and water available for fans who mosh. There's a lot that can be done.
Mm-hmm. But I have some problems with a guy who is a security guard under this circumstances in the first place. I'm wondering if we don't have a guy who eats nails for breakfast and looks for an opportunity to show he's got hair in his chest. And more than that, he's usually older, and he sees these kind of, they're subhuman teenagers who are bouncing around, and there's a disdain. There's an attitude that creeps in, and pretty soon this guy is roughing up your youngest daughter.
Absolutely.
This is what terrifies me.
No question about it. I've been attacked by security myself, and it's one of the things that fans suffer the most is how they're treated by security who don't relate to the music and don't relate to them.
You're a security guy?
Yes, I am.
You are. Will you understand for us? Well, we're talking about you.
Yeah, I'm working over the Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah.
And I'm a guard.
Yeah. And how old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
24.
I can, relate to them.
Yeah.
That's why.
But don't you grab some people and
I sure do. If they're getting out of line,
how do you know who's out of line in there? Can you go in and spot me and pull me out of there?
Sure can.
You can tell if I'm elbowing?
You're 350 pounds and you're elbowing a girl like 16 or 17 years old like that. There's a problem there.
I would say so.
Yeah.
But the question is, should we have volunteers be the enforcement for the problem? What's the professional expertise here? And how do we know you're not armed or something's going to happen?
Well, they should have certified guards. First of all, that's what they should have. In Nassau Coliseum, they have, like he was saying, padded area for the body surface.
Right.
And there's a big gap, and there's no stage diving there.
Can you and I can agree that we can get some real Yahoo in the...
Of course you can, yeah.
In the guard situation. In the guard contingent.
Well, not at the Coliseum, you can't.
Guys looking to bust some head.
When I broke my leg at the Coliseum, you know what the security guard told me? I was limping out of the Coliseum, hopping on one leg with a broken leg. He told me, medical's upstairs. That's what he told me. Yeah. So don't tell me there's no Yahoo.
Well, you're not going to get tender loving care at a place like this. We'll revisit the moshing, and this audience gets in when we come back in just a moment.
Be sure to include your phone number with area code.
You wanted to say, sir.
The gentleman with the White Sox cap in a small club where you just want to hear the music. Does the audience police itself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Clubs like the Smash Light, we were talking, I believe you're the owner of the Smash Light. There's no bouncers there. The club polices itself.
Yeah. I'd like to know what the job description is of the bouncers, because when I went to clubs, the bouncers protected the people, not throw them off the stage. So what does the bouncer do out there?
He weeds out the troublemakers, however they may be identified. Yeah.
This all just seems so self-centered. There must be a more constructive way to get rid of anger.
We live in a country where parents raise their kids to grow up feeling guilty and ashamed for not being like them with Christian morality. And these kids need a way to react against it. You're going to have a bunch of angry kids.
Well, when you do go out to a club, that you just got to watch this stuff whatever you do.
Yes,
you just can't expect to go out there and just dance and don't get touched and non-violent, because that's what it is.
I don't see how
if you get the music inside your soul, anything gonna happen. You don't play the music, you can't get it. It's the music.
Music? Music is the environment.
My sympathy to the parents. This seems like an awful pathological way for our younger generation to be acting. I'd be concerned about my daughter being in a club like this. Who knows what kind of perverts you have that are security and touching and feeling on the kids.
Yeah. We have... Yes, you wanted to say.
Kids, have you got violence other places in your lives, or is this kind of a fantasy thing for you?
No.
Well, we've met the parents of...
I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I'm going on to graduate school. I have a great job. This is just, I love the music, and I love to do what I do.
I went to a private Christian school. See how I turned out?
Yeah.
I just want to say, thank God my kids are grown and I don't have to go through this.
You own a club, do you?
Yes.
Well, we're talking about you. You wanted to say.
Well, my heart goes out to the Mitchells, first of all. It's an inherently dangerous activity, but so is skiing, and I'm sure, I don't have the statistics, but I'm sure that there are more people killed skiing than there are moshing.
The thing that makes this, I think, especially incendiary, is the potential for mass destruction. For all the weight of these bodies to conspire or come together in one place, you're not going to be able to breathe, you're not going to be able to move, the body cannot tolerate this kind of claustrophobic pressure, and we're going to see fights and also stampedes. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to predict that.
I think you've been showing a lot more of the negative side. These people...
This young man wanted to say, we'll give you a chance.
These people, they enjoy what they do. They let out their aggressions. And my strategy, I think that the bouncers do get in the way. I have a lot of faith in the scene, and I allow them to do what they want to do. And we really don't have any problems.
What about insurance? I mean, if somebody gets clobbered, or if there's as far as you see the way he broke his back and he broke his leg, they are almost proud of that, and but not everybody's going to.
I would be more worried about two girls getting into a bar brawl on another night that I have, as far as liability is concerned.
But there is liability. You are at risk here with this kind of...
you're right.
You own the property in which this activity takes place.
Right.
And how many Ethlie Baileys out there, Johnny Cochrans, would love to have an opportunity to sue? I mean, they go crazy with this.
Is the mother going to buy the tickets still for the next concert, now that she knows everything that goes on?
Mom?
Not all.
She'll buy them herself.
No.
She'll have to buy them herself. I won't buy them for her.
Yeah. It's not likely you're going to discontinue this activity. You're 17. You wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people always look for the downside of, like, all these events. You know, they always look for, like, people getting hurt and everything. They don't, like, realize, like, how good kids feel. Like, they just get such an adrenaline rush. You feel like you're on top of the world.
It's better than doing coke.
My point is, you can have a good time. But my point of being here is you can get killed. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Cops in the street, too.
Sure you can, but there's another way.
My mom is very supportive. I mean, she knows everything that I do, and she says, just be careful.
Your folks know your mother knows where you are, and you don't come home later.
I tell her everything that goes on. She just, she's worried about, like any parent would be, like, worried, but, she doesn't care.
And we'll be back in just a moment. Yes, there are lawsuits being prepared on this issue. In fact, you represent the Mitchells, who lost their son, 18-year-old Christopher, 2 months ago. And you'll essentially sue and say what?
We're going to say that the club did not provide the proper supervision. We're going to look into other aspects of it. We're still investigating. We don't know exactly what we're going to do.
Well, let me just say that we have time only to say the club owners ought to be on guard now. We've got the attorneys involved in it. Thank you for making that point for us.